Question for Coach.
Yeah, Pete, I know this is mostly about the rookies, but seeing Darrell Taylor out there, just how good is it to get him on the field?
Yeah, it's really important for his return to get comfortable with playing ball again. It's been a long year for him. We did get to see him at the end of the season, which helped. He got on the field for a couple of weeks, and this is hugely important for him. His attitude and his want to is so good right now. He's in great space. So it's good to get him out there, just get some turns and some reps. He's got some catching up to do.
Joe Fan.
Pete, with Darrell, health-wise, is he 100%?
Let me look at the film, see what he looks like. It was the first time I had a chance to see him. I didn't get enough to look on this practice at this point, but he ran around pretty well, and he felt comfortable, did everything. So that's a really good sign.
And then where specifically are you trying to get him some reps in?
We're playing him. He's an outside player for us. Rush outside linebacker. Both jobs he's taking a look at.
Corbin.
Hey, Pete, normally this time of year, it feels like you guys are bringing in tryout players by the busload. Obviously, that can't happen this year. But what are your thoughts on how you guys were able to get work in today and maybe having more individual time one-on-one with these players?
No, this was great work today. Now that normally in a rookie camp we'd have probably another 15, 18 guys. Around 50 something. We had 31 or something today. But it worked out fine, and they'll get the same amount of reps they would get in a normal camp. We have to adjust the tempo a little bit to get that done, but they'll get the same snaps. So that's the main thing, so we can make good evaluations and all. So that was a really good start today. That was really fun to see those guys out there.
It didn't look like Cade Johnson was able to get any reps in today. What's his situation, and how excited were you guys to be able to get him as an undrafted free agent?
Yeah, he was really productive in school, and so we are excited to see him play. We see him playing inside, being an inside receiver for us. He's not quite ready to go yet, so we just got to hold off for a little bit. He's getting walk-through reps and stuff like that, just so that he knows what's going on, but we can't get him on the practice field yet.
Bob.
Yeah, Pete, what did you see out of Dwayne Eskridge, and then also Connor Weddington? Sort of how do you see him fitting in potentially with you guys?
Yeah, I thought Dwayne looked really good. He looked just like we had hoped. He looked very quick, very strong, had really easy time with the types of routes that we were running. He had no problem at all doing everything, caught the ball beautifully today. So he's off to a nice start. He's a good, strong kid. He's built well, and you can see him. He catches the ball with strength and power. You can see him getting out of his transitions after catching it and turning and running and all that. So it was a really good first day. We got him to break him down a couple times. The first time he broke him down to something like, I'm not sure what he said, and the next time he got us down to the Seahawks, so that was a little bit better. So he got better during the course of the day. It might have been dogs is what the first time we broke him down. So we got him straightened out.
Tim.
Pete, what about Darrell's sort of makeup makes him a prime option for playing Sam, and what are the biggest things he has to learn that he just hasn't experienced before in that position?
Well, he did a lot in college. He did a lot of dropping, did a lot of rushing, and we liked him as a rusher first, which we still do. But he's got all of the athleticism. He's a real natural athlete, really light on his feet, burst, explosion. COD is really good. So this is not going to be a challenge for him to learn the position. We need to see how he feels when we do mix him dropping and rushing, and then we'll knowing that we want to see him as an outside rusher as well in passing situations. So we're double teaching him, and he's such a good-looking athlete. He looks like he can do whatever you need him to do. So we have no really restrictions or hesitation on his range of play.
Curtis.
Yeah, Pete, is there any random first impressions that have stood out to you from any of the guys since getting them in here, seeing them in person, getting to know them, chat with them a little bit since they've shown up that stood out to you?
Yeah, just seeing the 3 draft picks in particular, just how kind of giddy they are just to be here. You come from all over the country and you show up here, you're not sure what you're going to get into. It's your first day in the NFL, and they see this facility and our setting here and all, and how we take care of our business, and everything's so first class. These guys are just big-eyed, and smiling, having fun, and really excited to be here. I think it was Dwayne said something about a dream come true, and it's just really fun to share in their excitement. the one thing you can't miss is Stone Forsythe is a monster of a guy. Gosh, he's such a big, good-looking athlete. I'm anxious to see what the film looked like on his first day out here. But man, he's got tremendous length and his just stature. He's just built so beautifully. He's really just perfectly fit for the position left tackle. So we're looking forward to see how that goes. But basically, it's about their excitement. They're all charged up and pumped up, and it's fun to share that with them. They're probably not as excited as I am. So but they're close. So we're battling there.
Michael Sean.
Hey Pete, how are you feeling about the decision by your veteran players to skip out on OTAs entirely?
Well, they made a decision early with the information that they had, and they didn't know what the deal was with the COVID protocols and stuff. That was not hadn't been stated yet from the league. So they made an early decision. They were concerned, and they wanted to make sure and take care of business and make sure that everybody stayed safe. And I couldn't have agreed with them more. Things are changing rapidly. Today was the big announcement from the league in conjunction with what the CDC said, that people that have been vaccinated officially and fully, are out of masks and all that. And I know you guys can feel that as well. That's a shift. It's a shift in your mentality, and it changes things somewhat. And that we've transitioned to this point where things are a little different than they were back then. I don't know what's going to happen as we move forward. And anxious to see next week how all the teams handle it. There's I think 21 teams sent a letter in and made a statement that they weren't going to come to camp. Let's see what happens and see what's right. But I trust our guys they're working at it. They're figuring it out, and I know they're working really hard, and I know they're studying really well. All of our Zoom meetings have been just on point and really better even than they were last year at this time. So we're making progress. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks.
Thanks.
Greg.
Pete, some teams are giving back the mandatory minicamp and offering players maybe a week OTAs in lieu of the minicamp. Have you guys thought of doing that to try to entice the veterans back?
Yeah, we're talking to our guys about what our options are, so we're well aware of what's going on. No, we're not aware of everybody, but we're well aware of some of the thoughts that the teams have. We're going to come up with our own stuff, which we already are talking about, and seeing if something fits right as we move forward.
And then what's the deal? You finally got a West Point guy here. Congratulations.
It's about time, right?
About time. You're 10 years late. What is Radigan's status? Usually they have to wait on a waiver and just to get to training camp. How far down the pike is he with that? Do you know?
Really, Greg, all I know is that it's been seamless. There's been no issues, but he's here with us just like everybody else now. And I don't know if it's an exemption or how they do this, but he has the time and the freedom to be here with us. And I think I would imagine that he has some reserve responsibilities out of season and all. I don't know the particulars other than he's with us and he's all in. So seems like a really cool kid. And I'm anxious to see kind of the chip on his shoulder about this, being from West Point and all that. Because I've been around a guy that really demonstrates that, and I'm just curious to see if it kind of just follows suit.
Is he inside only?
Inside linebacker? That's where we're starting him at. Yeah, we'll find out first day on the field. So he looks like that's where he fits, and so he'll be learning Mike and Will right now.
It's too bad we don't have open locker room, Greg. John Boyle.
Yeah, Pete, you guys have a lot of fans in Germany. They'd probably be mad if we don't bring up Aaron Donker. Just what are your thoughts on getting him, and what did you know about him when they allocated him to you? And, just your thoughts on that program as well.
Well, I think the program's great. I love that we're doing that and making the opportunities available to people from other areas and all that. I'm all for it. Aaron's really charged up. He's really excited about it. He fits. He looks in the first day out here. He fits in with everybody. He doesn't look like it's too big for him at this early stage. But I'm anxious to follow his enthusiasm and also I know sending the message back home. It is a big deal and so he had a good first day and we'll learn a lot more as we go. But he will not be without a lot of excitement and enthusiasm. He was jacked up today. And he's been coming around the office. We've seen him a couple times in the first day already. So he's trying to find his way a little bit, but he's doing well.
Brady.
Hi, Pete. I'm sorry if you were asked this already, but Daryl's his leg injury from last year. is that a thing of the past at this point? And just how is he doing physically?
That's with the work that he's been able to do here in town and in the off season. That's how we're approaching it. Like, that's behind him now, and we've made a real clear declaration that now it's about getting in great shape and getting ready to play ball and getting back to his football and all that. Feeling like, a little bit of wishful thinking, but we're feeling like that is behind him. So now it's just maximizing the opportunity to get strong and make sure that he's really fit and ready for a challenging season. So we're all really encouraged about it.
You said before that there's some overlap or interchangeability between Sam and Leo. Could you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, well, both positions call for outside rush ability, and so both guys drop at times. The Sam position drops more than the Leo position. It's a little more featured as pass defender on early downs, and so the demands of it can cross over. The guys can really be able to double dip here, and so we can get the right combinations in, guys on the correct side, maximizing guys' strengths and all that. That's really what we're doing right now. But all the while, we're evaluating the guys that are playing both positions to see how much of a crossover they're able to make and see how much flexibility they give us. So there's no question that Darryl can do both things. There's no doubt.
Thanks.
Art?
Pete, Eskridge gave you a third receiver for 4.4 seconds or less. What options does that open up for the offense?
Well, we love the speed. We love to be explosive and love to use the whole field. Russ is a great downfield thrower, and we've for a long time have been an explosively oriented team in the throwing game, particularly on early downs and off the run game. And so to have, the more the better. The more speed, the better. He's going to fit in beautifully, and he'll work his way and compete his way into how much he can contribute. But to have all of those guys as threats is really what you desire, and so I don't know how it's going to turn out. We're a million miles from figuring all that out. But the fact that he does have big time speed, and we saw all the highlights, all the huge plays that he was able to execute. It's a real positive for us. We're going to find out how comfortable he is playing inside as well as outside, and that we saw him about 85% of the time or something like that playing at the wide receiver position into the boundary. So we're going to have to uncover some of that flexibility as we go through it. Just today he was lined up in the slot, motioning around, moving around, as well as playing outside. So it doesn't look like it's going to be any problem. It's just a matter of what we ask him. He's a really bright kid. He really cares about the details of stuff already. He's made a big impression with Nate and the guys in the receiver side of things. So we'll see how it all pans out. But going back to the originals about the speed, there's nothing to replace that, and we love it.
Last question, Bob?
Yeah, I'll probably butcher his name, but wanted to ask you about the lineman from Montreal, the Canadian guy.
Pierre.
Pierre?
Yeah, Pierre. He goes by Pierre. That'll work.
Pierre, okay. He's listed as a guard, but it sounded like he could play some center too, or where do you guys see him playing? Or
yeah, we're gonna try him at guard as well as the being an emergency center type guy right now. We want him to feature playing the guard position, but that's day one. We got to figure it out from here. I'm excited about this guy. He's really focused and jacked about being here. The first time I talked to him, he was on a subway or something like that. So we had to struggle our way through our first conversation, but I could tell his enthusiasm and the juice for coming here and being part of this was there. He's a real bright kid, and really look forward to him, finding his way. So we're open to whatever, but we're starting him at guard. But he did take snaps at center today in early practice, and like we always say, the more you can do.
Okay, thanks, guys. Hold tight, and we'll bring you a couple more players.
Wasn't that good to leave him with a little wisdom, right at the end? The more you can do. Yeah. All right. See you guys.
All right, we've got Stone here. John Boyle, why don't you start us off?
What have been your impressions of first couple days here and getting out on the field today with the other rookies?
I mean, it's been great. Kind of just since I've been up here, since I got drafted, just kind of they welcomed me with open arms. Kind of all the rookies, we've kind of gotten together, kind of talked with each other, and we're just excited to be out here, compete, and kind of get back to football. It's been 5 months now since we've played.
Jen?
I know it's not much, but being on the field, how does that help solidify what you've been talking about in meetings and seeing in the playbook?
I mean, for me, it's a lot just because, I mean, you can draw as much as you want, X and O's just on the paper, just kind of understanding it, but, like, there's nothing like getting that live experience, live reps, kind of going against the defense and just kind of really solidifying it, kind of like what you said.
Corbin?
Hey, Stone, obviously this isn't a training camp practice yet, but how would you compare the pace and the energy to what you saw playing at Florida, playing for Pete Carroll and company?
It's definitely a lot faster. I mean, kind of practice was kind of like a game, pretty much like you can compare that speed kind of. So it's definitely a lot faster.
Bob?
Yeah, Stone, is there much of a transition for you just in terms of how you like stance and things like that from what you did at Florida to what you're going to have to do at the Seahawks at all? It's kind of the fundamentals of playing tackle.
It's a little bit different for me just because I got to get in the 3-point. We kind of really never did that at Florida, and we passed the ball a lot last year. So just kind of getting more balanced up in the run game and pass game this year, just kind of keeping it even. So that'll be a different change for me.
Greg?
Stone, hi. I'm sure you're tired of hearing about the leverage question at your height, but what does a 6'8.5" guy do to get NFL low? What are some of the drills? What are the things that you work on most?
Just kind of just that stance, initial stance. I mean, your stance is everything. That's what you start the play with. So just kind of getting fine-tuned in that stance and just kind of filling out those angles in the run game and just kind of keeping those leverage and just keeping those angles and pressing those defenders.
And then how different is, I know it's only, 1-2 days in the NFL playbook,
yeah.
But how different is it? How much more intricate does it look like it might be than what you had at Florida?
It's definitely a little more complicated. It's more wordy compared to what we had at Florida. Florida was really basic. So just more words and kind of just understanding what those words mean with the defensive looks.
Nico?
Hi, Sonia. With Greg taking the question there that I was going to ask, I'll just go ahead and go real simple and ask you, now that you are here and you're starting to, anything looks more real, has there been anything that surprised you, either about the facilities or the trainers or your fellow rookies? Is there anything that's been amazing about this whole experience so far?
I mean, this whole experience has been amazing. It's just an honor to be one of the draft picks and just kind of being out here and kind of one of the best facilities. I mean, the water's right here. You can just get that little breeze throughout practice. So this weather feels better than it was, like 100 degrees in Florida. So.
Okay, last question for Stone. Brady?
Hi, Stone. Yeah, somebody who's 6'8", are there taller NFL tackles that you study just for tips on how they do it as a taller guy?
I watched Ronnie Stanley and then McGlinchey from the 49ers just coming out of college. Just kind of seeing how they move, seeing what they do. I mean, you can watch Tyron Smith and Trent Williams, but I just can't relate to them because they're 6'5" guys and I'm 6'8", so I just kind of look at those other guys and kind of figure out what they do to make it work.
Well, what do they do to make it work?
Just using their angles in the pass pro and just kind of they'll figure it out and just kind of using their length to their advantage, keeping those guys off them. I mean, if you get that first touch, I just feel like kind of the rep's kind of over. At that point, you're playing basketball.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, guys. We'll be back with Daryl. Thanks, Stone. No, it was John Boyle. John Boyle?
Yeah, Daryl, I'm sure last year was a tough one for you not being able to get on the field. Just, I mean, what was that like for you? And then how, in retrospect, how good is it to get back out there now?
Yeah, it was pretty hard last year not being on the field, but I had my teammates helping me out. Older guys just whispering in my ear every now and then, coaches talking to me. So I stayed the course last year, just trying to be humble and trying to stay positive about what was going on. And then just getting out here today was very exciting. Being out here with some of my new teammates and stuff, man, it was something for the books, and I'm excited to look forward for the future. What's coming up next?
Brady.
Hi, Daryl. Brady Henderson from ESPN. Nice talking with you. Can you tell us what your transition to Sam? I know you've only been on the field for one day, but what you think of that transition and what that's been like so far?
Yeah, so the Sam position is great. I like the transition. I'm still going to be playing Leo as well, trying to be a versatile player. The Sam position requires a little more dropping, but we're trying to make the Sam a dominant player, and just trying to help this defense be more dominant every year we get on that field.
And so we know you had, I think, surgery in January after your senior season, or after your last season, to have the titanium rod inserted. Did you need another surgery in addition to that?
No, I didn't need another surgery. It was just wasn't working. Tried a bunch of different things, and came out with something positive that helped me, and it helped me get on the field, as you can see, and it's going well.
Thank you.
Curtis?
Yeah, Daryl, kind of along the same vein, can you kind of talk us through how last year was on that front, like going through the start and stops and not being able to get over the hump to get back, and what ultimately allowed you to get there when all was said and done?
Yeah, just the training staff and everybody's all hands in type of mentality, and everybody just being on deck, being available whenever I had to go to doctors and stuff like that to see what was going on. I think that's what helped me. I think that's what got me back on the field. Everybody being hands on deck and everybody playing a part and playing a role in what was going on with my injury. So everybody doing that, it helped me get back on the field, as you can see today.
Did it just feel like there was a ceiling you couldn't push through for a while? Like there was just this next level you couldn't quite get to with where you were at last season?
Yeah, it was just something that part of my injury that I couldn't get over, that I finally had got over at the end of the season, going in the postseason, going in the playoffs. So, and once I got to that point, I was able to get on the field with my teammates, and they was able to see me run around. It was really exciting sharing that moment with them.
Joe?
Daryl, Pete Carroll said that he's approaching this, and the coaching staff is approaching this with you, like the leg injury is a thing of the past, and that might be wishful thinking, but that's how they're approaching it. Where are you at right now? How do you feel? Do you feel 100%? And do you feel like the leg is behind you well?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think the leg will ever be behind me, because, it's just going to be a part of me because I had surgery on my leg. But I'm definitely looking forward, and, a fresh start for sure. But, it's going to fuel me. I feel like my injury from last year is going to fuel me. Not being able to be on the field last year is going to fuel me. Not being able to share those 16 games with my teammates, it's going to fuel me to get out there with them so they can, see how I play and see how I conduct myself as a professional.
Bob Condotta, Seattle Times.
Yeah, Daryl, not to belabor the injury, but were you able to keep your conditioning and everything through that? You're listed at 267. Are you still right around that weight and everything?
Now I'm at 267 right now. I leaned up a little bit. I'm going to play at about 260 though, but I won't be 267. But yeah, I definitely leaned up a little bit right now. Putting on more weight. About 245 right now, and I'm putting on more weight. Going to get about 258, 260, and that's what I'm going to play at this season.
And how much Sam linebacker did you do at Tennessee? Pete said you did some of it there a little bit, or?
Oh yeah, I played a lot of Sam linebacker at Tennessee, in our 3-4 front. So it's not really new to me. Tennessee asked me to do a lot, so Seahawks asked me to do the same thing, and I can take the challenge, and I'm ready.
Greg?
Daryl, at Tennessee in the strong side, were you early rundown linebacker and then edge rusher?
I was all downs. Never came off the field.
I'm not talking about that linebacker. Were you Sam linebacker mainly in rundowns earlier?
Honestly, I played a little bit of everything, so it wasn't like I played Sam mainly. I played it all equally.
And then you mentioned that something finally worked last year in your treatment. What worked? What did you get that finally solved it?
Stem cell injection helped me. I went to Dallas and got a stem cell injection, and that helped me get over that hump with my injury.
That was in November, December?
It was in November.
Thank you, sir.
Nico?
Thank you, Daryl. I just wanted to ask you, Pete has mentioned, and he's talked about your versatility. What are some of the things that you can work on to maybe help you be better at dropping back and maybe doing a little bit more coverage at the pro level this year?
Just staying in my playbook. Staying in my playbook and understanding where my help is, what teammates I can call on for certain communications and stuff like that. Just staying in the playbook and understanding the coverage. Getting communications from the safeties, will linebackers, corners and stuff like that, and just staying in my playbook. So I think that'll be easy doing that.
Michael Sean?
Hey, Daryl. You have a younger stepbrother named Jeremiah, right?
Yes, sir.
How has that relationship been valuable to you over your life?
Oh, man, it's been one of the most valuable relationships in my life because, last year he was really the only one that was at home with me. So it was rough coming back home, just seeing my teammates out there. It was rough. But, I stayed the course. Everybody played a part in it, and they were there for me. My brother was there for me the most for sure because he lived in my household. But, yeah, that's like my best friend.
He was living with you up here or back in Hopewell or what?
No, right here.
Oh, okay. And staying with the family angle, how important was your stepmom in your life after your mom passed?
Yeah, she was very important. I was really young when it happened. I was 16 when my mom passed away. I was a sophomore in high school, and then I met my stepmom my junior year of high school, and she played a major role in my life.
Thanks, Daryl.
Masvita?
Yeah. Hey, Daryl, you touched a little bit on this, but just the importance of you getting on the field today. What did that feel like for you?
Man, I can't even explain it. I honestly didn't want to get off the field, but, we had to go lift and do all that stuff. I just wanted to soak it in because I hadn't been out here in a long time, and it just felt really, really, really good to be out there. The sun, helmet, everything. It just felt good.
The injury, you talked about it, something that obviously happened. Are you at the point you're not thinking about it when you're on the field now? You're just trying to execute, read the playbook?
Yeah, not at all. I don't think about my injury at all. It's just like, especially when I hit the field, the first time hitting the field, I'm just like, all right, football, here we go. Just time to lock in and time to get ready for the season.
Last question for Daryl. Brady?
Hey, Daryl, you see you're in number 52, and it looks like I think you were listed as 58 last year. Why the change? And what does 52 mean to you?
52. So my mom wore 25 when she was in high school, and she was really good at basketball. Supposed to be All-American, all that stuff, but was scared to get on a plane. So I wear 52 to represent her. 58. I just kind of felt like last year it was just a lot. It was hard last year, so I changed my number because I didn't want to wear 58 anymore because I didn't want it to be a representation of last year. So I thought 52 would be the perfect number to go with, to represent my mother.
Gotcha. And one quick follow-up: when you returned to practice, I think it was the last week of last season. Do you remember how many practices you actually did last season?
I think it was maybe 2 or 3 practices. It wasn't much because it's the end of the season, we just trying to take care of the team. But it was exhilarating getting out there and playing against some of the real pros, Bobby and all those guys and Russ and everybody, being around those guys, just getting out there and letting them see me run and running the ball and stuff. It was fun.
And what was your mother's name?
Peggy Tyler.
Peggy, P-E-G-G-Y?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Daryl.